Show's starting, but I gotta do it. Alright. This is it. Welcome back once again to Hell in a Cell Week here on Talk Wrestling HD and NoDQ.com. This Sunday, of course, is the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. If you can't get on WWE.com or order it live on pay-per-view, the best place to go is right here at NoDQ.com. Check us out, live coverage at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. But before we get there, I want to talk about the classic Hell in a Cell matches, the ones that made me fall in love with Hell in a Cell, the ones that made me go, wow, this is a badass match. And you can't really talk about Hell in a Cell, of course, without talking about my number 5. And the reason it's number 5 is because it belongs on the list, no question about that, but when you think about it, fall off the cage, fall through the cage, squishing attacks, chokes him on attacks, tombstone. That was it. Undertaker, Mankind, King Ring 98. The most memorable Hell in a Cell match by far. The shortest Hell in a Cell match, one of them by far. But you know what? It made for a memorable moment. You will forever see that moment in WWE history in your mind. You won't see it right now because they took Foley off the opening of the shows, but it's forever etched in your mind. When you think of Mick Foley, when you think of Mankind, you always think of him flying off the cage at the King of the Ring in 1998. When you think of The Undertaker, you think of Hell in a Cell. That match and the match that's number 2 on my list made Undertaker the guy in Hell in a Cell. It was what it was. So that's like my number 5.1. That's like my number 6, okay? My number 5, that I forgot to put on the list, but I'm going to say it right now, is Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker, No Mercy 2002. This was just incessant violence, bloodletting, just a horrific injury to The Undertaker. They took the cast off. Brock and Undertaker beat the crap out of each other in this match. Paul Heyman bled in this match. I mentioned that earlier in the week. Just a brutal, outstanding contest between two just big bad bears in this business, and Brock showed that he was a dominant champion. He showed that he could tangle with the biggest, baddest dog in the yard and still come out the champion. And it took Paul Heyman and the Big Show screwing him at Survivor Series to take the title away from him. That's how much of a badass Brock Lesnar is and was back then. I mean, yes, it was all kayfabe back then, but whatever. He's still a badass. Brock is still the man. And that was a great Hell in a Cell match. Number 4. Triple H versus Batista, Vengeance 2005. The culmination of the feud that had started when Batista, the seeds were planted in the early part of 2005 when Batista was starting to break away from Evolution. It happened at WrestleMania when Batista beat Triple H for the World Championship. They had that god-awful rematch at Backlash that we all saw at Wade's house. Aaron remembers that. That horrible pay-per-view that was headlined by that match and the Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels versus Hassan and Daivari match. Yuck. But Triple H and Batista made up for their shortcomings in Hell in a Cell at Vengeance 05. Just a great moment. They went for the Batista bomb. Triple H had the sledgehammer, and Batista still pulled it off and got the 1-2-3 and beat his mentor. Number 3, the classic retirement match for Mick Foley. Cactus Jack versus Triple H. Triple H is again on the list. There you go. Hell in a Cell, No Way Out 2000. Everything it was expected to be and more. That match was just awesome. Both those guys bled. Both those guys fought tooth and nail, hardcore. Foley took a huge bump through the cage again to make it happen, and it was just awesome. Number 2, and the only reason, well, you know what? I'll change my number 2. My number 2 is Triple H versus HBK. Bad Blood 2004. These guys went 45 minutes or so at a Hell in a Cell match. Not a lot of bloodletting, not a lot of violence and everything, but they just beat the crap out of each other and used the cage enough where it was awesome. But these two guys could have a great match no matter what. My number 1 Hell in a Cell match, you can't top the original. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, Bad Blood 97, the match that started it all, the match that set the tone for every match, the match that made Mick Foley believe he had to do something bigger and better at the next one, which is why he took the fly off the cage. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker set the tone. It was the blow-off of their feud, a great feud that went through 1997, and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, again, beat the crap out of each other. Undertaker more so, and we saw the debut of Kane in that match. First time we ever saw Kane to help Shawn Michaels get the 1-2-3. Michaels crawling through a pool of his own blood to barely get his arm over the Undertaker for the 1-2-3. Such drama, such mystique, such a great match. It made Hell in a Cell what it is. It made people want to go, hey, I want to see this match more often. And you can see it more often. This Sunday, live on pay-per-view. Again, WWE.com is presenting it. WWE is hosting it live on pay-per-view. If you can't get those, NoDQ.com, of course, is your place to go. We will see you next week here on Talk Wrestling.